I think my experience, especially in business, I like to say I've written on both sides of a paycheck. I've had employees and created some jobs, and I've had to deal with regulations and government and taxes and pay the bills, and I think that's a good experience because, what we need to get in this country, we need to get people back to work, and I think there's several things we need to do to make that happen, and one is we got to have our fiscal house in order. We've made some progress in that this year. A lot more work to do. Common sense regulatory reform, some tax reform, and an energy policy that encourages the development of our natural resources. And I think that kind of certainty coming out of Washington, D.C. will help restore confidence, and the people that invest the capital will be more willing to risk that capital and hire people.
When you go back to Ohio and you talk to small business owners, are they expressing frustration at what is happening in Congress, or are they pleased with some baby steps here?
Well, they're frustrated to the extent they don't know what's coming, and especially on the regulatory side. The common theme I talk to business people is they're just so fearful of what's coming next. If it's an EPA reg or OSHA or whatever, and the Dodd-Frank legislation, the financial legislation, and Obamacare, they're afraid of what their costs are going to do, and they're hesitant to risk that capital. So. There's some investment going on, but it's not where it should be, and that's why I think we've got kind of a stagnant economy. And I think the good news is there's a lot of pent-up demand out there, and if they had the right messages coming out of Washington that would restore that confidence, and you'd see this economy really take off.
I mean, we have many months until the next election. Do you think that we're going to see some progress on some of these big issues in Congress, or do you feel like the thought is, you know what, we're close enough, we just need to wait, see if there's a change in who's here, and try again after November? Well,
I think the election's really important. Politicians always say this is the most important election of your lifetime, and this one really is because, they've racked up about $4 trillion in debt in the last 3 years. Our national debt now is the size of our economy. That's not sustainable. And, we're getting things done in small ways. I'm proud that this year in the U.S. House, we've passed nearly 30 bills to help improve the business climate here in the United States. Unfortunately, the Senate hasn't acted on them. But we have done some things on what I call on the discretionary spending, especially non-defense discretionary spending. Those we're down to '08 levels. Those are real cuts. That hasn't happened since World War II. And and we don't control Washington, D.C. We just, we control the House, and so we've made some progress there, and I think we've slowed down what I call mission creep by the bureaucracy, especially in the regulatory side. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but we've made some progress there. But I think the election is really hinged on what happens starting in January of 2013.
What is the partisanship like as a member of Congress? Is it something you're dealing with every day? Everyone talks about this deep ideological divide and that it's more partisan now than ever before. Do you experience that on a regular basis, or would you tell people, I have friends across the aisle, or does that happen, or does it not?
Well, I think everybody in Congress, no matter what side of the aisle on, all want what's right for America. Now, some people disagree with how we get there or what's actually right for America. I think my really issue is frustration with the Senate not taking up the bills, and I know Speaker Boehner's worked really hard to force him to get back to what we call regular order, and we've done that in the House. All the bills we've done in the House this year, members can go on the floor and amend them, an open process. I'm told in the last couple of Congresses that wasn't the case, and we passed cut, cap, and balance earlier this year and sent it over to the Senate, and the Senate didn't do anything with it, and they had every right to vote it down. They should have debated it and voted it. If they didn't like it, they could vote it down. Another option they have if they didn't like that bill is they can strip that bill and put their plan in, vote it out of the Senate, send it back to us. They didn't do any of that. They tabled it, and they want to go behind closed doors and negotiate. That's a broken process. So Washington's broke in the process, and we need to get more transparent, open process, and I think we'll all be better for that.